Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode, we're going to be doing our next challenge list. So what this is going to be is the one we did previously was where we had a roster with only one attack value in the entire roster. This time we've got the no buff, no love list. So the rules for this challenge, I'm going to play this until I get at least one win. If we, play, it's a pretty short video. I'll try another game or two just in case to fill up a bit of time on there. But the aim of this list is to win a game, and the rules are we can't attack with any unit unless they are buffed at the time. So they can attack us and we can attack back, that's fine, but we can't attack any unit whatsoever unless we are buffed. So this list, it's got a couple of decent units in there. It's actually a fairly reasonable looking list, but we're not going to actually be able to attack most of the time. So for instance, Antios Gauntlet, we can't ever just use that for the 1 damage, because then he's not buffed at the time. So, the logic behind this list and how we built it, we've gone for Extilior first of all as the captain. The reason for that is Extilior's Shield of Hope. So Shield of Hope is the easiest, cheapest, persistent way to buff a unit. For 1 Cinder, every turn our captain can give something a buff, which in this game means that we can then attack. It's great, it's really useful, it's exactly what we need. And it persists between turns, which is the important part here as well. So Extilior we've gone for as the captain. We've gone for Antios Gauntlet as our regular 1-drop. So again, as we know, can't attack unless it's buffed, but it can buff itself here. As our normal 2-drop, we're going to have Deadeye. So Deadeye gives a ranged ally accuracy, plus 40% accuracy for 2 turns. Most of the time, we might not even use this. It might just be a case of using Extilior's ability on Deadeye because it persists, but because this lasts for 2 turns it's good. However, the only target in the list is Deadeye, but it is still one of the better 2-drops we can play. Over this side we've still got Savria, sorry, after listening to the audio drama. Her name is Savria, not Savria. I need to keep training myself to get that right. And she's got Shield Barrier, so it's another 1 Cinder ability that reduces its next damage to 0. So it's slightly more powerful than Extilior's ability, but it's obviously on a crew instead of a captain. But that one also persists, so that's another buff that we can use here. Now next we've got one where we can finally start to sort of cheat things a little bit. We've got Blindsider Eztli, and so if you have no Cinder left, Eztli gets a buff. He goes up to 4 attack and gets fast. So Eztli is just a good unit anyway, and being able to get that additional attack out of it, it means that we can use Eztli as intended quite a lot of the time, so that'll be really useful for us. Also, in a list that probably has got access to a lot of Cinder spend, it's going to be pretty easy to activate that as well. On this side, we've gone for Amplifier Bitol. So Bitol's probably not going to attack herself, but if she can buff up all our allies, that's going to give us a lot more opportunities to attack in an AoE, as in she allows multiple units to attack each turn. We've got Drumdancer Tlalli, so Drumdancer can buff anyone in the list that Deadeye can't, so that's literally everyone except Deadeye, so that's a really good target there. 2 Cinder, anything can attack, quite useful, so it means that with that Extilior we can get extra units attacking each turn. Torian Guardian is another one of our little cheaty ones, so Torian can always attack because they've always got the buff. I'm tempted to say for this the sake of this game that we're not going to attack with Torian unless they're we're not going to attack with Torian unless they've got another buff, because as far as I'm concerned that's just part of Torian's ability. I am going to say it's different to Blindsider Eztli because I feel like those are different things. This just always exists, and this you have to meet a condition. So I'm going to try and avoid attacking with Torian Guardian unless they've got another buff on them, but they can help buff something else for free. And lastly we've got Tipu. So Tipu, we only need to buff it once and get a hit off, because then it counts as being buffed for the rest of the game. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with this, see what we can work out, and see if we can win some games in PvP only using units with buffs on them. So I'm going to hop in now, and hopefully I'll see you in game. Okay, we found our game. We're on the Cholek map, so this is quite a large map. We've got a mostly melee focus list, so this might be quite hard to close the gap. But let's see what we can do here. Now, I did say to myself, and I haven't said this out loud yet, but I'm not going to consider Stimburst a buff, just because it's something you can put on anything. So I feel like that would just make it too easy. Every 2 turns, anything gets to attack. So we're going to go with Vortex and Corrosive. Again, neither of these are counting as buffs, but they will do. of course, we play Jester. Oh dear. If we just end up in the same pairing cycle as Jester, I might never get this video finished in time to release it. I'm actually recording this on the same day that I'm hoping to release the video, so if I don't get a pretty good chance fairly early on, I might be in a lot of trouble. I don't think there's any world in which I beat Jester if they're playing even a vaguely aggressive list. Oh, we'll have to see how this goes. Okay, so there's Maximus there. So the question is, what do we do? I think we play Drumdancer out just because with Vortex and Drumdancer there's a reasonable chance that we can make moves onto Maximus if they place badly or move badly. So we're fairly well hidden here. We've got good assists. We've got Force in the next turn so we can buff things if we need to with Bitol and then potentially get into range of this. Yeah, moving back I think is correct. The interesting part is, can we actually get in there? We may even be able to move up here with Drumdancer Tlalli, pull Maximus in, buff ourselves, and go for it. So let's just see. I think that's exactly what we can do. So what I'm also going to do is consider whether we can pull in Extilior as well. I actually think it's possible, so we're going to try for it. The reason we're going to try for it is because if we can do it, it saves us a couple of Cinder. Okay, so there's not a route where we can quite get everyone in. It doesn't quite work. So we'll just go for this. And we're going to spend our 2 Cinder to Battle Frenzy here. We're going to kill Maximus. And then, because of their placement, I don't think that we've actually got a good opportunity to place an Antios down in range anywhere. So I think we just want to place Deadeye down instead. There we go. So that's a good start for us. Luckily that just happens to be the correct play. And now that we've got that kill, we've got a buff onto Drumdancer Tlalli, so it's not going to last. Ooh, that crit's a big deal. So with 1 Cinder, Deadeye can now take us out here. I mean, they got it anyway. Absolutely the right choice there. Now what's this going to be? See, this is just as more defensive list they've been trying out. So I think here this calls for a tactical retreat, let's say. Is there an angle with no minuses? There is an angle with no minuses onto Deadeye. We haven't got any buffs yet, and we probably just want to play Blindsider Eztli. So let's just... we haven't got a buff. We can't use it. Can't attack. So we're going to move back here. And we're going to all hide as a team. Jess is going to be very confused as to why I didn't attack. I imagine I get a message or just a comment at some point. I nearly attacked when I wasn't allowed to, and that would have been bad. That's cheating. So we are going to run away here and try and find ways to get in range. I don't really know what we do. Like, there is no reasonable world in which we can deal with this, but it might just be a case that we have to run forwards with the intention on playing Amplifier Bitol next turn. Yeah, so Florio is going to be an issue for us. They're going to get a nice hit here. Okay, that miss matters a lot. Ion Storm, okay. So I think here we still have to just go for it even though the Ion Storm's happened and see if we can potentially take something out. So, the question is, where can we deploy? Because if we move up here, we can deploy Amplifier Bitol. The question is, can we get everything we want to in range? So we might as well go for this attack first. I think we're going to save our corrosive. Yeah, so we'll just go for this first, because this is buffed. We did miss, that's fine. We've got 2 cinders to spend, so what we'll do is use 1 Shield of Hope. We should have actually Deadeyed ourselves, but... And we'll pop Antios down in a moment. In fact, we have to place Antios first anyway, so we'll pop Antios over here, let's say. We'll pull these 2 in together. This should leave us buffed no matter what. Yeah, and we can hit this. Of course we missed. Like, we knew that missing was a likely outcome there, but we couldn't not take the risk. So I think this is going to be a really nice activation of Florio. So I think this, yeah, this is something I think Jester is a little bit reluctant to do, is activate Florio instead of playing units, but I think here it's absolutely the right thing to do. They can potentially take out our two most damaging units here. So we're going to have to see what we can do. So our best option here is to go for face. But here, I wouldn't be surprised to lose both Bitol and Deadeye. Wow! Okay, that was awesome. I know that Jester said they've got like legendary rarities on some of them, but that was an awesome effect. Okay, so if they go for this attack in twos, they can just literally... I think they can just knock this back and do it. I think we're very dead here, I'll be honest. I don't see a way back from this location, but we can do our best. Like, we have got corrosive, but I just don't think it's going to be enough damage. Yeah, I mean, that's worth it to save yourself 3 damage.
What is this, a game?
Yeah. Is there Zax all the way up to level 10? Wow, Jester's played so much of this game. Okay, so I think here we can safely just concede, because we don't have anything to compete with this whatsoever. We will just quickly pop out the missing dialogue compliment, and we will concede there. So I'm really glad to see Jester playing something else. It looks like it went well as well. I'm actually kind of hoping that we queue up into Jester again, because I'd love to see if I could get a game taken off with this. I don't think we're going to, and that was like one of the premium sets of assists we could get. I do think that crit onto Tlalli made a big difference there, because if Tlalli had lived, we could have potentially dealt a lot more damage straight to Zax and sort of gone for the rushdown, and I think that would have been a really nice, you know, way of going about it there. We had a really good start killing their Maximus, but it wasn't enough. And I think as well, one of the things I was thinking earlier is that playing our Maximus and not playing a Maximus in our list is, it's going to be difficult, but also we're going to have to really play it off curve to ever actually activate it, because we can't attack unless we play something onto it. So it means that turn 2 we'd probably be playing Antios and putting a shield on Maximus, which is fine, but it just feels a bit awkward. And I really want to do it with this list. Like, doing it without Maximus seems like the right thing to me. That's what I want to try and do. Now, I don't have that much longer before I'm going to have to... like, if this game it goes on way, way longer, I'm not sure if I'm... Yeah, this is just going to be Jester again, isn't it? Okay. Plink might be good. It gets us a bit of damage through. Escape hatch. I don't even remember what our escape hatch was, but we'll take this. This seems good. I'm assuming this is Jester again. We're going to have to play aggressively. I'm really curious as to whether I get a message from Jester at some point. Or actually, no, what I imagine has happened. I imagine Jester's streaming and has said, what is he doing not playing any units? Let's go with... Yeah, let's pop Tlalli up here. We don't think they can get all the way around, so we just pop it straight in the middle. This is one of the ones where us being able to be aggressive is really useful, because they can't get good line of sight onto our crew, and we can potentially be aggressive onto their captain. Them hitting that is quite upsetting. So we're now going to have to... This is the standard move, by the way, now, is to move around to this side. We're just going to have to move up and start deploying right in their face. That's not even going to be enough. So I think what we're going to do is place this here. We're just going to move straight up with Tlalli, and we're actually going to... We're going to save our Cinder here, because that way we can amplify Bitol next turn and try and just push him with some buffs. We have got our escape hatch, which could work out fairly well for us, but... Yeah, so that's obviously not ideal. Is this going to be the Beatrice? It is. So here I kind of think Beatrice would be nice for us to go into this point, but let's see. So we're going to just move over here first, and we're going to use Escape Hatch and see what happens. It is Torian Guardian. Okay. I think that's actually one of the better options we could have had. Do we just go for... Do we have any 2-drops? We do, we still have Deadeye.
A slap is an unreal.
So I actually think we're going to inner energy this. And just go for 3 damage. And we're going to pop Deadeye down. I think what we want to do is pop Deadeye somewhere like here to make it so that they have to move in that direction. And we've got something en route there. So we're doing okay. Like, considering. We're doing okay considering is the right response there. If we get to take a game off of Jester with these rule conditions, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. We do get to play Bitol next turn, which means everything in theory can attack. We're just hoping we don't see something like Ion Storm here. That would be really powerful. I've actually just had an idea earlier for a game... Oh, sorry, a video that I want to talk to Jester about because I think they'd have an interesting thought on it. Okay, so they're just going to go ahead and kill Tlalli there. That seems fair to me. Yep. Yeah, those animations are sweet. So we do need to be all in on Zax, basically. This is fine if that's where they want to go. We're just going to have to push in on the captain and see what we can do. They're imagining we're going to move this way. Going to move this way. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're still dying rapidly. This is what I didn't want to see. I was really hoping Jester wouldn't block this off. Escape hatch as well. Yep. Okay, so we can actually still do things here. Because what we can do is we can play Amplifier Bitol, say, here. Which means... Are we in melee range? We are not at the moment. So I don't think this can even work. It doesn't quite. We're just going to pop into this gap, line ourselves up for the old debuff there, and honestly I think here we have to actually shoot for a crit onto Florio and just plink. Because we still have that Amplifier Bitol buff, so we're not out of this, but not feeling great here. We're going to take so much damage from Florio, but I just think we really need to make this work. Also, I am glad that this is here rather than there. I'd rather have the dodge on Bitol here than on our captain. We just need to find a way to squeeze in and push that damage. This is so much. We don't have a choice but to run at them here, because we need to all be bunched up to even be allowed to attack. That's unfair. I mean, it's completely accurate because they can give it 100%, so this is going to kill Torian, which is exactly how that works. It's what you want to do in that situation. And that means that now we're going to lose Bitol as well, which means we need to buff Deadeye to be able to do anything here. So interestingly, we have to choose what we buff. We can buff Deadeye and ourselves. We've got 5 Cinder. I think it might be the time to just run in at things with Extilior, buff himself, buff here, and just go for as much damage as possible if Deadeye survives. Yeah, so another mine here is reasonable. We will just plink the mine out the way. We'll use Deadeye and plink to take that out, because we want to get as much damage onto them as possible. You can tell that Jester's not used to this sort of list, so we're going to Ozos ourselves to shoot this. We will then plink it. We're going to move Extilior into here. Shield of Hope. The other option actually is we could try and block things in. I think that's the right move actually. There we go, we've got another Shield of Hope. We can play, so they've got loads of damage as well. So what if we played Savria in here? Or Savria? Deadeye can come hide over here next to the other Deadeye. Just make it as awkward for them to hit as possible. Like, they obviously can kill it quite easily, but it's a better than nothing opportunity. Like, we've got some good damage potentially coming out here. It's just a case of can we survive long enough, because they've got 7 units left and we've got 4. So it really is just going to be... So they might even have to gravity disc something to try and run away. And place mines, and the mines are going to be the nightmare here. We haven't got any damage onto Zax yet. But we can play one of our units next turn. Yeah, so now we can't attack. This is going to be brutal trying to do this versus Jester. I don't know how we're going to ever manage it. We do have the option to play actually Tipu and Eztli next turn, but I think this is going to be another GG. Maybe we have to try and find a different opponent. Oh yeah, we're actually stuck here as well, interesting enough. Yeah, so with that, I actually think we probably are done again. I don't think we've got enough time to take down them.
I'm used to taking my time.
I mean, we can try. We'll give it one more turn. I think we're very likely dead. Because especially seeing as Plink doesn't do much here apart from heal ourselves. So I mean, we can attack here. So let's just try doing this. Let's Shield of Hope ourselves. Can't quite move that way, so we just... I think we probably just melee, or do we Sword of Justice? We still want to actually play Eztli, so we can only really spend 2 Cinder. So we actually just melee here. We can use Savria to shield barrier herself. Come in here and attack. We'll escape hatch to get Tipu out. Tipu can take some damage, but we will heal that up. We'll then play Blindsider Eztli over here. And we've already used Shield of Hope, so the only thing we could do here is move. And I think that movement's fine. So we've left them with a reasonable amount of damage onto Tipu, but I don't think we can do anything about that. They've technically got 7 damage here, and we just need to push for face. I think we're in a lot of trouble, because we couldn't have attacked with Savria. Sorry, we couldn't have shielded Tipu, because we needed the shields to block things. I actually don't know if we're going to be able to attack with Eztli, because I don't think we can spend 8 Cinder next turn. We can spend 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can only spend 4. We don't have enough to spend, so we can't even attack with him unless we buff it somehow. Yeah, this is going to be very over. The option is going to be run in with face here and try and do what we can with... That miss is actually quite a big deal. Because Savria's still got her buff. Oh, that crit. Oh, the crit and the miss, it makes it fair. So we can actually attack for a turn. And buff Tipu again with Plink. So Tipu will go up to 3. Because we can Savria onto Tipu, which we couldn't do previously, because we're just stuck again. Let's concede that one. Oh, Jester playing well. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I know that Jester's in another game and just check out the stream. If you haven't checked out already, check out Jester's stream. Very good player. And then I'll pop back in once Jester's found another match and see if we can find someone who's not just going to pummel us into the ground. Okay, so we are back. I actually decided to queue up again straight away anyway, because I thought there's no fun in this if we just refuse to play against good players. We might as well try and play, and so there's a good chance we do end up against Jester again. It doesn't feel quite as... yeah, here we go, probably. It doesn't feel very genuine if we're not doing it properly, so... Plink and Disruptor seems good. Stasis Field and Escape Hatch seem good. I think Plink and Disruptor are too good. Yeah, we have got Jester again. I think we're going to just get judged continually as to playing nonsense. And pop Tlalli over here. So this time they can get onto Extilior, but maybe not onto Tlalli. So this is going to go very similarly to the first game, but I think we're actually in a better spot. Oh, this is Vortex. Okay. So that's really bad for us, because that means they can just get a lot... If this is Plink as well, we've probably actually just lost this game immediately. Because that would be a very, very difficult situation to come back from. Yep, so they're going to come in here. Oh, basically Plink or a crit. Get this damage in. There's the crit, so now we have to get... Oh, and Stim Burst. Yeah, we've... might as well concede this one. That was absolutely nuts. So, what can we do? Because they did that without spending any Cinder, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm still one of those people that firmly believes that we don't need to have everything be a Cinder cost. That, however, was a pretty rough turn. So can we just get a nice angle here? Let's just do this. So we are in range. We could spin and attack and play Deadeye maybe, or Antios. So yeah, let's do that. So let's Shield of Hope ourselves and buff. Spin. Attack here. Play Antios Gauntlet, maybe even just down here to make it difficult for them to run away. I think that's reasonable, and we're just going to push onto the captain for damage. There you go, that's what our game plan's going to be here. We're just going to push for captain damage as quick as possible. Unfortunately, we know they've got Neck Divine, they've got other ways of defending themselves, but here they haven't got a good angle into Antios, which is nice. Yep, so they're doing the same thing. And of course Maximus is going to come in and do his usual little song and dance. Yeah, this is all fine.
Dead ahead.
So the interesting thing here is that we can't kill everything. But so if they place a well-placed Beatrice here, which I know they've got in the list just here, would actually probably shut us down completely. So I think that's something that they're going to have to consider doing. Okay, so we need to Shield of Hope here. Just come over and start punching. We'll Inner Energy. Can't quite get to Maximus, so we'll just come over here, kill Deadeye, and we'll just keep plinking their captain. Bear with me. Okay. I thought I heard a delivery van for a moment, but I was mistaken. Okay, so we're making at least some headway here. It's not good headway, but we have stuck them against the wall, it appears, so they're going to have to Vortex or Gravity Discus away, which is nice, I suppose. I wasn't actually expecting this to be a stuck situation, but apparently it is, so that works out well for us. Maybe we will get a game out of this at one point, who knows. We've got Disruptor and Extra Cinder next turn, so we can do things. They can hit us away. They've also got Stim Burst to run, which is probably what I'd do in their case here as well. Oh, that crit's not good news for us. Yeah, so we're really going to need to find a way to get on top of things here. So they're going to have 1, 2, 6, 7, 8 damage. Possibly 12? Okay, so that's reasonable to go over there because we can't do anything about it. Maybe this list needs a Quetzali. Yeah, good placement here is key for them. Oh, it's Shrapnel as well, so there's... Oh wow, that Stim Burst hit there is somewhat brutal. We were so close. So let's just pop Antios this way. Buff himself up. And just generally move in their direction. Now he's got a buff for next turn, we can move over here. And what do we have in terms of units that could help? I think we probably play our own Blindsider Eztli. Maybe over here. And we can't blink anything, can we? Because nothing took any damage. Which is unfortunate. So we just want to Shield of Hope something because we don't need 6 Cinder for anything next turn. So let's just not blink. What am I doing? Shield of Hope Eztli here. Right. We just helps him potentially stay alive if they have a unit that can help deal with that. Yeah, that's fine. So I imagine here's where they play a Beatrice, but they could also just take the shot on Antios and then move. That's probably what I'd consider doing. I suppose range could actually have been useful here with Deadeye, because we could have basically started taking 3 a turn out. And there's nothing Antios can do here apart from move into this little nook. I can't figure... Is that going to be the Neck Divine, actually? If that's Neck Divine, we're in a lot of trouble. Oh, it's Florio. Okay. So here we need to split up. But we can at least get some damage in. We can't quite get onto their captain, I don't believe. But let's see what we can do. Let's pop Bitol down here. We can Shield of Hope ourselves, I reckon. And let's go for this. Yeah, we're going to be slightly out of range for anything we want to do here, so we're going to hide back here, move Antios into this little gap, and just keep plugging along. Again, can only blink that, it doesn't do anything. Didn't actually gain life on any of this, so just end the turn. Yeah, I think maybe without a Quetzali this might be too much of an ask, but we're still trying. We're not giving up yet. It's not the end of the world yet. Do you know what, actually? A Scattervine could be a really good finisher in this list. Maybe that's what we need to do. Oh dear, this should kill us, in fact. Yeah, we should be dead here. Okay. Yep. Bring it on, Jester. Throw me into the trash. Okay. Let's see what else we can do here. Because I think, with the roster as it stands, we're not going to be able to win. So I'm going to go back into this and make a change to the roster. Now what I think is our best options are not going to be things that are too slow. I think we need to be really aggressive. But things that can be aggressive include Quetzali. So again, not going to include Quetzali as a buff, but just something that gets us into range could be really nice. And then what else would be good? Something else to help us finish these off. Honestly, it might just be max... oh no, we said Scattervine. Let's go with Scattervine. So, now we've got a list which is similar. We've got less buffs, but we have got more utility. And if we can just keep buffing Scattervines, especially with Bitol, so they're only really going to work with Bitol. That's the issue, is that Bitol needs to be alive for Scattervines to be worth it. But even sometimes just that one hasty damage can be really useful. So I imagine we come against Jester again. I hope not, but yes, we have, of course. Oh, please be the close spawns. Okay, that feels slightly better. Ooh, Corrosive Disruptor. That's good for us. Let's go with that. And if we're going first... Oh, no, wait. We're not close spawns. He's down there. This is the one where if you actually are close spawns, you can move up to here and deploy touching your enemy captain over there as well, which is quite ridiculous. I love it. Right, so we're going to try and play a little bit safer this time. So how far can he move? So he probably can get a shot onto us if we go up there. So let's just try... Let's just try again with Tlalli over here, hiding behind the cover. I think just a more cautious start would be useful. So I think that's what we're going to go with here, is just trying to take it a little bit slower on the run in, especially being mostly melee, and see if we can be more cautious here. So these are the sort of games that they do make you better as a player, because this is going to be a really hard fought game no matter what, and playing it against a really good player is going to make this such a challenge. So what we're going to try and do this time is basically move Tlalli over to here. We can move Extilior over to here to hide behind this, and hopefully get to deploy something hidden either sort of like over here or over here. I'm not quite sure where the gaps are, but we'll have a look in a second. Yeah, so with everything that they've got being ranged, it makes it very awkward. So where does this leave? So our deployment range ends up over there. We've got 4 Cinder. So what could we play here that makes it not awful? Right, so there isn't actually much to do in the way of hiding here either, so we probably just want to go about here. And then save this cinder for next turn. Although, even if we save it for next turn, we can't buff anything. Yeah, so this is... We're going to have to just wait here and take a risk. We need 2 more turns, basically, because we need to deploy Bitol, and then we need to find a way to deploy Tlalli as well. Or just for them to make some deployment mistakes. It could even be that this ends up being like a 2-part video, and we just keep on this challenge until we end up getting a success. And we'll have to see, because I would normally be happy with this being quite a long video and just keep going till we get there, but I'm worried about it actually processing in time to be uploaded. Yep, so we kind of need this to be a miss, but if they're willing to use Deadeye's ability, which I expect they do, I would. Yeah, so this is a dead Tlalli here. Okay, so the question is here, can we push something towards us? This is Beatrice again. Yep. So if we can buff both of these, we can kill Beatrice, which is good, but it's going to cost all of our cinder. You know what we can do? Here's a plan. We're going to place this. We're going to play Amplifier Bitol back here. Then we're going to hit the corrosive. And
Want some talus fruit?
I believe this is in range of Bitol, isn't it? Bitol's aura is... Yeah, so what's the percentage hit? Nothing. So this should be high enough for me to be comfortable with it. It is. So we'll take that. Let's just go with it. Oops, that was a mistake. Oh yeah, this is something someone pointed out. You can actually deploy in this little gap and get stuck. So we're just going to deploy in here and just try and box them in a little. I hadn't worked that out properly. So we've got... I thought we actually had enough damage, but I must have miscounted. Because obviously this takes it to... Bitol essentially takes it to normal damage, and corrosive takes it to +1. Yeah, so they can kill Bitol here, that's fine. They've got basically a kill on any one of our units if things go well for them. This could miss. It's not impossible. Next time we've got 6 Cinder as well, so we can even just play Tlalli, buff something, and start running, especially if we live with Bitol here. It's unlikely. Like, they can get an angle here, probably shoot it, see what they can do, but if we don't need to play Tlalli, we can play multiple things, especially, like, Bitol living is the most important thing here. Yes, there we go. Giving that extra accuracy is probably the right call there. Now it depends on where they move and what their plan is, so... Stim Burst again, okay. Yeah, so Stim Burst's pretty good.
What is this, a game?
So we might be able to do some stuff, but not quite sure. Oh, the crits as well. We just need them to be misses, not crits. Okay, so can we just push both of these forward somewhere useful, or can we get max?
Awaiting directive.
I think we might be just able to get max, but I think pushing in on these guys is probably more important. So let's go here. We will Shield of Hope to make sure we're not breaking the rules. Gain 2 Cinder. We'll Sword of Justice. Get our attack in. We'll Inner Energy here. And shoot that. And then we will release Ozos on ourselves. And move just back here to make it hard on them. And shoot their captain. That's a good turn. I'm okay with that. So everything was buffed that attacked, everything was reasonable. Oh yeah, because he still had another 40% accuracy buff. That's awkward. I mean, there wasn't anything we could really do. I think Deadeye was probably dead regardless. We could have not gone for the 2 damage that turn, but I think at that point we're looking at a mistake. So they can move. Yeah, Blindsider Eztli is going to be coming in after they play something big in front of us. We're getting so close in these. Like we are getting better, but we're not good enough. So Beatrice is already dead, so this is probably... We've already had Florio, so maybe this is Nectarvine? We're okay if it's Nectarvine. 5 Cinder next turn. Oh, it's Chuck and Go. Okay. That's pretty awkward. So I think in this case we need to play Eztli and maybe even save for Scattervine. Okay, so this is good for us. It can't quite get to Antios. So it's just a...
File not found.
Yeah, so it's gonna... They might as well use it to either run away or hit 4 to us. I don't know what's correct. I wouldn't hate the idea of them just running straight at our face here. Yeah. Okay. So what do we do here? So we've still got our buff. So we don't have to actually cheat here. Or do anything cheaty here. You know what I actually do think we do though is... So they've got bad angles if they go that way. So I actually think we're going to move over here with Antios. And maybe even just play our own... In fact, you know what? Savria's pretty good here. So let's place Savria like here. Make it very hard for Eztli to get all the way around. Yeah, I think that just about prevents it happening. We might as well try for this here. Oh, hang on. We did have a buff, right? I think we had a buff. If not, I just won't attack next turn to make sure. Okay, now I think we're just dead. No attack first. It's a bit of a mistake, but I suppose they could just be going to kill Antios, actually. That also works. Oh, we're getting so close. It looks like we're going to have our first attempt at a 2-parter video here. So I'm going to be basically keeping going on this run until we can find a way that we can beat someone with this style of list. Unfortunately, in terms of timing, we need to stop this video because otherwise we're not actually going to have a video to release today. So this is our first challenge run that might take a multi-episode attempt. So I mean, this has been good so far. I've learned a lot. I don't know if we're over quite yet. I think next turn it could just be Quetzali and buff ourselves and run at this, because then that's 10 damage onto their captain. But they're just going to kill Savria, so it's even less than that. I mean, if I were them, I'd actually consider going face here, but... Right, so it almost has to be... The other option actually is we just try and kill things here. So what if we... If we do it like this, I wonder if I can get this to work. In fact, maybe it's better to just do this. Yeah, this works. So we Sword of Justice here. Oh, we didn't... Well, we'll buff ourselves now, after the fact, because that's how the rules work. Then...
Assistance.
We have to do this, because we can't hit Chuck and Co, because we can't buff our Scattervines. No, we could have placed it first, then attacked, and that would have buffed it. It would have done. Oh, that's so sad. Let's just place this over here. Honestly, I can't place the Scattervine into that. We could have had this, if we'd have realised the ordering, we could have attacked here So we could have placed Scattervine, attacked here, it would have buffed the Scattervine with the Shield of Hope from the passive, we could have attacked here and then spread out so they couldn't hit both of us at once. And I think we were actually really close to being able to pick up a potential win there, especially if we could buff things going next turn. So that's very awkward. This turn we can potentially actually just, if we can kill Chuck, so if we spin and kill Chuck, if we're still alive that is, like, you know, we're not guaranteeing that by any means. So we're taking 8 damage here. Yeah. So here they probably just want to fling to get the guaranteed damage and keep Chuck alive, maybe? Like, we have got Quetzali, so if we got the crit back there, we could have had it. Okay, so there is a world here in which we're not out of the chances of winning. And it's bizarre, but it's doable. I think. I'm not 100% sure. We need some crits. Yeah, that moving back is good for us. Yes. Yeah, this is good. So let's move here. Play Quetzali. Move here. We'll place a Scattervine down this side so it's out of... In fact, we can just place it here, that's fine. Then we can... Oh, we're not going to have enough. We can Sword of Justice here. We can get the attack. We need some crits. Get the attack here. Yeah, we were just a little bit short. So if we'd have killed Chuck and Co that turn, I actually think we could have had this. So if we place this here... Oh, we moved out of Quetzali as well. Oh well. We'll just let them kill us. That was our closest game yet. Oh, that's so good. Wait, did we buff Extilior first? We may have... I keep forgetting these rules. We're so close, I keep forgetting what I need to do and what I don't. Maybe we cheated there after all. So I'm kind of glad we didn't win that, because I think that might have been a cheat. We did, however, level up Blindsider Eztli and Savria, so getting there on that front. Right, for now, I'm going to call that a day. We're going to have to come back to this video another time and try and go for another way of winning with only attacking with buffed units. I do think I probably cheated in that last one, so we'll have to call that a day there. If you're liking this, if you've got any suggestions, any ideas of how you'd be doing this list, please pop it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. In addition to that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really does just help the channel grow. It makes me happy. It just does everything you could possibly ask for pressing one little button that costs you nothing. So please go ahead and do it. Pop a like button on the video. And more importantly, have a good day. And this time, we'll see you next time.